A pocket full of Kleenexes.
There we are.
Testing.
Yes. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Looks
Sibilance.
very good. Sibilance. Syphilis.
Syphilis.
This is going to come up.
Chlamydia.
Actually, syphilis will come up.
How?
You wait and see.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Are we ready?
Do you know about syphilis?
What?
Good
Because
morning.
of fish?
Are we on?
morning.
Are we on? Good morning.
Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap.
Tap.
Sibilance. Syphilis. Good morning and welcome, ladies, to Wendy's house.
Yeah. Yes.
Welcome to
Wendy's
the
house.
jungle. We have lots
Yeah.
of plants in here.
It is a jungle in here.
And a dog, if you can find her.
I
Yeah.
love it. All right, so we're here. It's Bridget.
We're here.
Jody. Hi.
Wendy
Wendy,
P.
Jody, Bridget. All right, so first thing first, 7 Brew. What did
7 Brew.
We went through the 7 Brew, and I tell you what.
Were they sweet again?
Oh yes, just the loveliest gal with adorable long braids. Oh,
Man.
they're all so sweet and cute there. I went nuts, you guys, this time. And I know what you guys got because I picked them up this morning.
What'd you get that was nuts?
Oh, I got the one with the 6 shots
Oh,
in it.
geez.
Oh, Jesus.
That's why it's so much darker. And I was like, after about the first sip, I was like, okay, it's hitting me.
About 3 minutes later, she goes, "Oh, that's hitting me."
Do you
Right
remember when I said I was
mid-sentence.
going to get the sweats, but you thought I was going to say
Yeah. I do. That was last.
I think
That was the
today's
last.
the day. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna.
Yeah,
get the other
I
ends.
might at this point.
Oh, golly.
Woo! I mean, my heart is pounding.
So, Wendy, what did you get?
I got a pumpkin roll brevet.
Seasonal.
And seasonal. And no shade to 7 Brew, but I don't really like it. It's just well, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't taste any pumpkin at all, or any spices or anything.
Oh,
It just tastes like a brevet, which I love a brevet, but
okay.
Well, I wonder what went on with that.
I don't
You know,
know.
the other day I got a blondie from there. It was that day I got my very first pup cup. Well, I mean, Reggie did, but later he shit all over my floor. So I'm not sure if that was related. I think it was.
well, yeah, it's just whipped cream, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's probably just oil.
It's
not even
dairy
real
richness. He probably just wasn't used to it. Anyway, I asked for an extra shot.
Yeah.
And that gave me a lot more coffee flavor and
Right.
less of just the sweetness. So I might do that a lot. That's kind of what inspired my give me like all of your
What is that called?
coffee.
The 7? No.
Smooth 7.
Smooth 7.
Smooth 7. All right, yeah.
Right.
Someday when I have a lot to do, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Or not a lot to do. So you
I
can
was
lay
gonna
there
say,
You just want
yeah.
to sit there and shake.
I'm pretty caffeine
me.
sensitive. I don't know if I could handle 7 shots.
Or if you're constipated.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
gosh.
you go.
That doesn't
Which-
happen in my house.
That happens to me. So maybe someday.
Oof. I tell you what.
I don't have any
Jody.
storage space.
Yours
True.
sounded good. I tell you what.
I got a Rocky Road chiller, which is the blended with whipped cream on top, and it's pretty darn good. It's salty
Oh.
ish.
I like a little
But-
salt.
Wonder why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's I don't know. Let me get a quick taste.
Any, salt and sugar, put them together.
Well, it's nutty.
I
of the
was
Rocky Road,
I was thinking today on the drive over, and I chuckled to myself. And you probably would not like this idea, but I was gonna do a little blooper reel of you and your ice.
That's fine. That's fine. And I'm trying to talk with ice in my mouth. I can't talk with ice in my mouth. I've been forbidden to have ice. If you've missed that episode.
No,
I forbade myself. I did it to myself. I said
Clarification
no more
is
ice to
you're
you.
forbidden to talk with a mouthful of ice.
Yeah,
Which, if you know how, set your boundaries.
yeah.
You're
I just-
preventing it.
Yes.
I've just decided that it's
Yes.
not worth the. It's not worth the.
Yeah.
It's called behavioral modification.
The anxiety that it gives me to try to talk.
Oh, Lordy.
Because if I got something to say, I got to say it, or I'll forget it.
Yeah.
See, and if
Yep.
yeah. I got a new shirt.
Someone's gonna end up crying, probably me. and has a black cat on it, so I'm a fan.
Wait, say it again because I coughed in the middle of that.
Somebody's gonna end up crying, probably me, with a black cat.
With a black cat and a moon.
We love it.
Well, because I did during one of the movies. I did.
Oh.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Doy.
Splash. It's so sad. Okay. Well, let's just get right into it.
When she breaks all
Yeah.
the TVs, I cried.
Let's get right into this one where Splash.
Mermaid
It's
Week.
Mermaid Week, yes.
Mermaid
and
Week.
we watched
Boop, boop.
Splash and Mermaids. And I do have the 25 words or less, emphasis on the less,
Yeah.
for the first movie, Splash. What, 1984?
Yep.
Okay.
Same year that I came into the world.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a big year.
Nice. Okay.
It
Okay,
was.
here's my synopsis. It's easy to love a naked woman who doesn't talk, especially if that woman is Daryl Hannah. Period.
Yep.
That's it. What a nice butt she has. I don't want to start there, but that.
I
Isn't
mean,
she
it
with-
kind of starts there, right?
Isn't she with Neil Young now or something?
What?
I don't know. Somebody's with Neil Young.
Neil Old, you mean?
Neil medium size.
Old man,
Okay,
look
I
at
gotta
my
get
life.
Okay, so.
Ah.
So this movie I love, and I still love it, but now I'm seeing it, and it's really echoing a lot of the other themes that we have already discussed.
Yes.
Especially like that idea of that perfect woman, you know, when we talked about that in Mannequin, and the whole the not talking,
The needing rescued.
needing rescued, needing to be educated by a man.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be explained to her. And you know, it's like she's literally being led around by the arm in a bunch of scenes, and I'm like, huh. And then all of a sudden she starts to get her own thoughts, ideas, speech, and she's running wild,
I
and
think
you
she
almost
had-
can't catch up to her.
I
Yeah.
think she had her own thoughts and ideas. They were just mushed with, oh my gosh, this is New York, and what do I do here?
And she didn't know the language, but learned it in 6 hours watching TV.
Everybody,
Watching TV.
yeah, everybody does that in a movie. And it's like mermaids, and then you go back to our furry aliens, you know, they have these special powers somehow, I guess.
Well,
to
because
learn
they're
fast.
aliens, so of course
Right.
they do whatever
The thing,
aliens do.
it's so, yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like they portray her as being like a helpless damsel in distress, but also like she is obviously wicked smart.
Yeah.
And brave.
Yeah.
Because she like goes out into this world by herself when he leaves her
Right.
at home. She
Yeah.
goes and she learns a whole language in an afternoon.
Yeah.
She's obviously very smart, but then he still has to like save her.
Yeah.
And
She goes to Bloomingdale's, and what struck me on that one is it's practically the same scenario that you see in Pretty Woman.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, X amount of years later, and she's dressed like a freakazoid, and they're super nice to her, and they fix her up without question, whereas Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman is treated like, you know, a hooker.
Uh-huh.
But when you're the doorman of Tom Allen's apartment and you see him coming in with a girl with a t-shirt and no pants, and scraggly ass hair, you're gonna think that's a hooker.
Uh-huh.
And in many ways she is like a hooker.
Uh-huh. Well, they find her. Well, that's not necessarily the hooker thing, but when they find
yeah.
her, she's naked.
Yeah.
She
Which-
doesn't understand that she needs to have clothes on.
But
Right.
below the Statue of Liberty, the freedom symbol, but yet you don't have the freedom
Yep.
to stand there just yourself.
Uh-huh.
Her hair covered her boobs, so there was at least that.
Sure.
They had to. It was only rated PG, so they had to.
And then the butt.
Keep
the
the
butt was,
nipple.
I think, a big deal.
Apparently, you can still show a butt in a PG movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of butts. You'd see a lot of man's butts once in a while.
Less
Maybe
women
in
butt.
the 90s more
But
so.
I felt like really weird about the Statue of liberty scene too, because I did feel like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
she's a criminal for nothing basically, and they all just like attack her, and you're like, oh my god, she's
Yeah.
not doing anything. Like,
Well, they
it's
all
just her
wanted a picture with
body.
her.
But they
Yeah,
they
she's-
touched her and grabbed her
Yep.
and just mobbed her. That
just because she was standing there naked, like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
And being beautiful.
Yeah.
right, right.
It
I
had
mean,
a
if
lot
I
to-
was standing there naked, they
Right.
wouldn't be mobbing me. They'd be like, ew, get away.
Well,
Run
they
away.
still probably would
run
be
away.
filming you though.
they
Probably
would film you,
they'd
but
be filming me.
I don't think that you'd get mobbed like that. But at the same time, it's still that idea that she belongs to whatever man sees her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every woman does,
Mm.
right?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that's what the male gaze does. You know, it says, you know,
Male gaze.
yeah,
Gay male.
you're not your own person. You belong to everyone, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So what else? I love.
I don't know. This is gonna sound like a really stupid thing
Not really.
to say, maybe, but I and this movie just kind of drove this home for me. I think the whole like sexy mermaid thing is kind of weird because
Totally.
it's a fucking fish.
Totally.
It
Fish
is.
are gross.
Totally.
They're slimy and they have dead eyes, and I don't like them. And I don't think that a half person, half fish would be that sexy if it was real. And then, well, we watched a Killer Mermaid movie after that, and I was like, this is what a mermaid would actually
Yes.
be like. It's scary and creepy.
There's
And
a series called Monsterland.
Yeah.
With each episode is a one-off, and one of the episodes has a mermaid in it, which I'm like, yeah, that's what a mermaid's like. Fucking sharp ass teeth. It's gonna eat you alive.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like eat you alive.
So
but
I
there's
wonder.
a difference between a siren and a mermaid.
Yeah, those have gotten kind of confused.
Yeah, what I read the lore was, you know, a mermaid is generally benevolent, and a siren is the one that's going to lure you into the water and kill you.
And drowned you.
Yeah. And
So did they, in the lore, did they appear to be beautiful to the men too, or is it just their singing that captivated them?
I think both.
I think
Yeah.
it's both, and they were in the water,
I
right?
mean, you're just
Yeah.
mesmerized and drawn, you know, like if there's a steaming pie in a window and you're floating across the yard toward it.
Steaming pie.
A steaming pie in your window.
Steaming
Ew.
pile.
Yeah.
Why did I say that? Okay, so
Do you think you can have sex with a mermaid? They bring it up.
Bridget-
They're like, have you
Bridget,
slept with her
personally, or-
when she's a fish?
right. No, I mean that's the thing is fish lay eggs and get them fertilized. It's
True.
all outside the body.
Except some don't.
Well, maybe Tom
Don't
Hanks
sharks
will turn into
give
a
live birth?
fish. Yes, yeah, sharks.
So they have to do it. They have. Oh yeah, they have the two peni that like.
Peni.
Yeah.
I think it's just a lot of booby touching and a lot of fin rubbing.
Maybe the.
Does he get a fin though? Do you think at some point?
I don't
Does he
think
get
so.
a
And I
fin?
wondered about their children if they could reproduce. If their children would be like,
Maybe he turns
what if they
into
were
a.
fish on the top and legs
Yeah.
on the bottom?
That
Maybe he turns into a seahorse and then he has.
he has the babies. That yeah.
Here's a question.
Ka-chunk.
Why did he leave on his shirt and tie
Yeah.
and belt and
Shoes.
shoes and pants
But take
and
his jacket off.
socks? But yeah, took off his
He's like, let
jacket.
me get rid of this. Very
He was,
dramatically.
he was in a hurry.
I'm off work
He was in a
now.
hurry and he didn't know.
But his tie, leave it. Shoes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's. Okay, so like, here's the thing that makes me think is that here it is in the 80s. Let's say he's about 30. She's about 30.
He looked so young and
I
tiny.
know. Well, it says in the description that it's 25 years later that she comes to New York. So I'm guessing he was probably about 5 when he had that boat accident.
I thought he said he was 11.
Yeah, he said
And
his
my
age.
God, they're old.
They didn't get their timing right on that because he said he was like 8 or 8 to 10.
8.
I don't know. Way
8.
older than 5.
So so
He's
supposed
in his
to be
late
like
30s.
35, let's say.
Yeah.
Let's say 35. Okay, I'll buy that. And so you're at age 35 and, you know, you're probably having some pressure, maybe self-induced about having to settle down and get married.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of the underlying thing about this. And every man is like, expecting that at some point that the one is gonna come along. And for the Tom Hanks character, he kind of has that inkling of, like, he doesn't quite remember her, but he has that feeling that he's already met her, or that there's something out there still.
Yeah.
But is that, in the movies show us that happens, but it almost is like men already are like that, which is almost just a way to not commit. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
he was already with, what was her name, Victoria.
Oh yeah, but he didn't love her.
Yeah,
He
they
didn't
lived together
love
and he
her.
didn't love her.
They lived together, but he didn't love her.
But he loved Madison.
Within 3 days, he proposed.
Yeah.
And all they did was have sex without talking for like 24 hours, and then
That was a little weird, wasn't it? But she was kind of the instigator. She
Oh,
was the
she definitely
instigator.
was.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and he was surprised. He's like, whoa, hey.
Of course. And then he leaves her. And I'm like, that's where I think about the prostitute thing, because I'm like, you don't know this person. You may have had a lot of sex with them, but you're going to leave them all day in your apartment and then not get robbed.
He should have just taken the day off.
Right. You know
Well,
what?
he tried at one point, like half a day.
Yeah, the weird thing about that is I like realized that about halfway into the movie that he still doesn't know she's a mermaid yet, because I'm kind of thinking
And it's so stupid.
through
that
the
he
first
doesn't.
for the first part that, like, what, he knows she's a mermaid, that's why he's okay with her not knowing her language and stuff. And I'm like, no, he doesn't know that. It's just some lady that showed up at the Statue of Liberty naked and had the police call him.
Well, he
but
knew
he
that
had-
she
she-
rescued him, so he saw her as an adult. Remember, she came out of the bushes and then she jumped back in the water, and then he
Right,
shows
and
up with that
she had
gauze
her-
wrapped
Yeah.
around. Who does that? So
That does not
stupid.
help you from a bump on the head.
I
No.
don't know what that was.
Well, then she also had his wallet. So
Yeah,
'cause it
She knew
fell
where to
out.
find him.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. And she.
So she could read. That's what struck me
she could
first.
also
is
read
she could read,
maps.
Yeah, she could read maps.
It's so stupid.
and she knew where to find a map.
Right. Well, and then I should point out, actually, when she gets her name, I looked this up because I was pretty sure. But yeah, Madison was not.
It wasn't a
It
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't a name until after this movie, and then I guess
Then it
became
exploded.
top 5 by 2000.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't know how many Maddies I
The
know.
syphilis
many.
thing. Remember, I said syphilis comes up when he wants to marry her, and they're like rushing around to get a blood test, and I was like, they don't do that anymore.
No.
And the reason it started in the 30s because of syphilis, not because of, like, are you going to marry your brother, but because of syphilis. And oddly, they just kept it going.
Huh.
It was weird. I was really surprised. It
So
doesn't make
what
sense.
happens if you get a blood test and you have syphilis? You can't get married?
Good question.
Or do they just want you to know what you're getting into?
Good question.
Do they want to hurry up and medicate you?
They don't want to
before?
spread it.
Well,
I'm
sure.
Yeah.
It would slow you down, I suppose, and from making a bad decision,
Sure.
a hasty decision if you
Sure.
had to go get a blood
Hasty,
test. But you can just drive to
pasty.
another state. He said so.
Pasty decision. I
But
like that.
They
Jody.
don't. Did you have to get a blood test?
No.
Okay. When did they stop doing it then?
I think it was like fucking.
Right after this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. In some states, you still had to do it up until like 2019 or something.
Oh wow.
Okay, so here's another part that really bothered me is, so Tom Hanks, Alan. He's absolutely in love with Madison, dotes on her, la-di-da. When they're having their little date at the ice rink, not only did I think, how can she skate? She's
She
new on
can.
legs.
She's
Yeah.
really good at skating.
And if you break your ankle or your leg, do you have a crooked tail when you get back in the water? Okay, but
Stop.
so remember how he acted when she said no to his marriage proposal. He fucking immediately went cold. He was an asshole. He got up and skated away from her. He
Yep.
wouldn't look at her. He wouldn't talk to her. He yelled at her.
Yeah.
It
It's
yeah.
That's a normal reaction to someone asking you to marry you after a couple of days.
That's a normal reaction to rejection, I guess. Rude. Fucking rude.
yeah.
And then to flip on a dime, basically, like,
And then she runs away, and then he's all
She
better. You know, he's all, oh.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but they always do somehow need a slap in the face to realize that what they had was actually pretty damn good.
Right.
That there isn't a perfect
It's a
relationship.
device used in a
Yes,
movie
there's
because
never a perfect
movies
love.
aren't long enough
Yeah.
to go through all the things.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes.
they're just you just can't have that. And she rescued him the first time. Heroine.
Heroin.
She was not on heroin. So she
But she was
rescues
one.
him once, twice. After that whole thing where he was a dick to her, and then fucking Eugene Levy gets out of the taxi cab.
Freaking love Eugene Levy. And
With
John
his
Candy.
rusty buckets of water.
Oh, yeah,
John
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 Candy.
Candy, anytime with a cigar when he's sitting over the water.
With his velvet suit. That was,
Oh, so great. What was I going to say? Oh,
sorry.
when
Eugene Levy got out of the car.
when she's finally sprayed with water and becomes the fish, flopping like helplessly on the sidewalk, Tom Hanks does not
He freezes.
come to her aid. He doesn't act like a man who loves her. And even though before he said, "What's your secret? You used to be a man," I'm fine with that, but not fine with a fish.
But, okay, so I was disappointed at that point, too. But then I saw him trying to get to her, and he couldn't. After about a minute, and then he tried to get to her and couldn't
in
because
his
of the
shock
crowd.
of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
in
of
his
the
defense,
crowd.
he is finding out she's a mermaid.
Well, yeah.
But-
yeah. Of all the
this.
scenarios he put in his head, that
That
wasn't
was
one
not
of them.
one.
But let's say this, the idea that he's not going to see what she is on purpose. He won't let himself see any of those, quote, flaws at first because he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But he should realize it. And the other thing about Madison is she has no filter in any other respect. Why is she manipulating the situation by keeping a secret?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't check out for me that she wouldn't just say, "Hey, I'm your mermaid friend."
Right. And I wish we would have got a little bit more like background on how she knows that she can only be a human for 7 days
Yeah.
or whatever. Like her family, this
Yeah.
is something that
And then it
is
has
it
to
like,
do with the full
Is it like
moon and-
Amish
Yeah.
people where you get Rumspringer and you're like,
Ah,
go see if you want to be
yeah, I
a
love
human
it.
for a
Yeah,
week?
because
I
she said
love
she
it.
couldn't come back.
Yeah.
Right. And let's think about that. Like, I mean,
Did
it's
she
like,
make-
it's like marriage.
Did she make a deal with an Ursula and we just don't get to see that part?
Ursula. At the very end, when they're swimming, you can sort of see a lit up underwater city. It's
Oh, I didn't notice
I didn't
that.
notice that either.
very far off, and I go, "Oh, there's the city," but you never see another mermaid. But at one point she was a child, and they're gonna grow old, I suppose. And how do you can just breathe underwater because you're with her?
I know.
She's for the rest. Well, she had to keep like kissing him. So for the rest of his life, does she have to kiss him every 5 minutes? That sounds exhausting.
That would be hard to
Wow.
sleep.
True.
Jeez. I think it's just the love between them that sustains his oxygen.
Ah,
Yeah, for sure.
sure.
But they it's like marriage, or like when we talked about vampires, cementing your relationship for, quote, life.
Yeah.
That's taking the plunge, if you will, and he did. He finally gave in,
Literally.
opened himself up to a real love experience, but it just so happened to be a mermaid. So the fact that he jumped in after her, I think it says something. But at the same time, why does it have to be basically you never see your loved ones again?
Yeah.
You can never go back.
I don't know.
It's harsh.
For drama.
How come he can't come
It's
out and
used
use
as a-
his legs for
He's
a while?
used as a tool. He doesn't get a tail, so he's got legs. So
He's got
what's up
legs.
with that?
He knows.
Why
how
isn't
to
he?
use
Why
them.
isn't
Is it
he
just like
immediately
a-
naked? Same diff.
Yeah.
True. I
Well,
think
she had to take off her shirt.
That's true.
I don't know
Yeah.
what would happen if she had pants on and
They would have
she tried to
ripped.
tail out.
They would have ripped all over town.
hulked out.
Maybe that's why she always wore dresses.
Hi, guys.
My favorite part of the movie, though,
Can you breathe louder?
was when she was doing aerobics to the Richard Simmons.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Oh, also, I looked it up, and she is Daryl Hannah Young. She is married to Neil Young.
Ah.
Thank you.
Weird.
Thank you for my trivia.
Wow. Who knew?
I did.
You did. I had no clue.
Why do I not
I don't
forget these things
that's
that
a
I should
weird
forget
pairing.
about?
Yeah.
Isn't
That
it?
is a weird pairing.
Isn't it though? Plus, she's really much taller than him. Like,
Gus is
I bet, yeah.
particularly breathy today.
yeah, she breathed over here for a while. Now she's gonna breathe on you for a while. That's how it's gonna be. Does she have to POTTIEY?
I don't know.
You did?
Yeah,
I heard
that was
a noise.
the door locking.
Oh,
Do you need to go outside? Okay.
Okay.
Take a potty break.
pause.
Let's have a pause.
Oh,
She would, well, she wouldn't cry or bark, but she would.
would she
She
scratch?
would be pacing and panting and scratching
Poor
probably.
baby.
Aw.
We won't do that. I just asking.
All right, you guys.
Oh, we're still.
So
I just said. I wrote the moral of the story is just let go and let love in. It won't be perfect, but it's your choice. Go all in,
Yeah.
or not. What?
Are we recording?
Let's watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a glare. I can't see it.
Yeah, we're recording.
Sorry.
I just freaked
Hi.
Jody out because I
Oh.
was talking and we paused. And anyway, yes, we are.
And I was talking like the dog. That's nice.
All right. Do you want to?
yeah, yes or no? Is this a must watch?
You might as well watch it. I don't know. It's cute enough, I guess. I don't know. It goes by pretty
For
fast.
me, I would say not a must watch, but I liked it.
I think that for how we're watching it, I think sure, because you can kind of look at it with today's point of view, and I mean we've changed and yet we haven't.
Yeah, right. I do remember really liking this movie as a kid, and
Tom
you know,
Hanks was everywhere.
He was, and he was such a baby in this one.
I still
Yeah.
love
And you
Daryl
see him
Hannah.
nearly naked,
Yeah.
so
He looks a lot like his son in this one because
Uh-huh.
he's
Yeah.
super young, but I don't care for his son.
oh,
I prefer Tom Hanks to
Colin.
Colin Hanks, but that's just me. I was raised on Tom.
That's nice.
So the second movie was
Mermaids.
and it wasn't about mermaids at all.
Well, it was a little bit.
Not really.
You can make a point. You can make an argument for the little girl being one.
I suppose.
Also.
Yeah.
Anyway.
she's a
dressed up
swimmer.
as
So
a
the-
mermaid.
The
In
not
one
25
small
words.
scene.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry.
In one small scene. Okay. The not 25 words is I've already forgotten them. I wrote them in my head on the way here. Okay, so it's a drama, albeit with a lot of light points in it. Stop. Bridget is counting on her fingers
11.
how many.
Does that count?
No. But what you see is a glimpse of a single mom raising her family in the early 60s in her own way, and sometimes she gets in her own way.
I think
There.
you used the extra words from mine.
There. It was better in my
Yes.
head when I wrote it the
I do
first
like
time.
the in her own way, but gets in her own way. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cher is the mom, and she's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's always good.
Yeah.
I think
She really
this is one
is.
of my favorite roles of hers.
Yep.
I was loving it, and I even wrote that in here, and I was like, it's our second movie with Cher in it.
It is.
Well, this is a much
Inadvertent.
bigger role. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was so great. And at the point, I said Cher managed to ugly cry without looking ugly.
I don't think Cher can look ugly.
I was like, wow.
There's something
The painting
just-
of her was a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah, that was
Bob
great.
Hoskins.
You know, he's
Bob
like-
Hoskins
so
is so
great.
freaking cute.
Oh my god, I would date Bob
Get yourself a
Hoskins.
little short pumpkin of a man.
Oh my god. Well, talk about little short pumpkin of a Christina Ricci.
Oh,
Oh, she's a little
she's a
sausage
baby.
girl.
Cute.
She's a little sausage in her swimsuit.
Had her little round head, and she was always wearing a swim cap, even when
Yeah.
she wasn't
Yeah.
in the water.
Yep.
Gotta love somebody with goals in life.
She was obsessed. But then so
Ugh.
was Charlotte. So was Winona Ryder. She
Yes.
was obsessed with
Oh.
Jesus.
piety.
But it's just like how it is when you are a teenager and you're going through that. You're like, these thoughts I'm having are bad. There's so much shame in all of our upbringing.
Well, there kind of was when she was having thoughts about Joe, because she's 15 and
sure.
he's 26.
Yeah,
but
that
then
whole-
again, it is 1963, so maybe that wasn't so
Was
taboo
it
back then.
26?
26.
26.
Wow.
Yeah, because what's her name? Cher found out.
she's
Rachel.
like-
Rachel found out how old he was, so
Yeah.
she could tell.
Well,
So she could tell Charlotte because she knew right away that Charlotte had the hots for
I had
him.
a similar relationship when I was 17 with someone who was quite my senior, so I get it.
But was it?
I
But
get
was
it
it
from
Jake
her
from
perspective.
16
From
Candles?
her perspective,
From
yeah,
her
I don't get it
perspective?
from the man's.
Yeah, like I could never
Looking
like.
back,
I mean, she was
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Winona is gorgeous, but
But
she's
plain.
15.
Here's why it happened is because they were both in a place of
Questioning.
no
Restriction.
No,
Uh,
they were both crying. What is that?
charades. They were emotional. Morning. Drunk.
When your defenses are down and you're
Vulnerable.
vulnerable. Thank you. Jesus.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. That was a long time coming. I don't want to get all excited about that really and say a lot because I'm going to cut out that whole
No. Because then
the guessing game. No, okay. So this is what I'm saying is they were both super vulnerable.
yeah, for whatever
And
reason.
For
on his
whatever
end.
reason, it's because you go from crying to kissing, and that happens a lot. I do it all the
not
time.
Do ya?
I know, but
The first
you
time they
know.
kissed was surprising to me. I've seen this movie 8,000 times, and every
Yeah.
time I'm like, wait, ooh, oh, there,
yeah. Let me say he is one of my favorite actors.
I don't think he's very.
I love him, but he's kind of the same character.
It's the guy who plays Jake in 16 Candles.
And
Oh, okay.
one of my very favorite movies that he is in that is under the radar. I don't think a lot of people know about it, but it's called Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Oh, I've heard of
It's
it.
the horse jumping movie. It's a true story about Sonora Webster, who back in the whatever, they used to literally run horses up a ramp.
Oh, yeah.
She would jump on midway and the horse would jump and land into a pool of water.
The poor freaking horse.
Seriously,
I've seen dogs do that, but I've never seen a
she
horse.
went blind and continued doing that.
Went
If
blind
you
from
jump your
doing it?
horse, if you
Yes.
jump your horse like that, you're gonna go blind.
From doing that, and it in the movie, the horse got spooked because a gunshot went off like right when. Anyway, so it's just it's so inspirational, and I love that movie. And he plays basically the boyfriend / guy who teaches her.
He's not
So anyway,
typecast or anything.
I heart him. His name's Michael
Shuffling. And
Yeah.
he quit.
Yeah.
Acting and became like a woodworker or something. Yeah.
And this was
Good
his
egg.
last movie.
I don't know.
Or
Wild Hearts.
I think was his last movie. I really do love that movie. It's been a minute and it might be in the jar.
He seems in Mermaids. He seems kind of dull.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not.
Like, I think he's cute,
Well,
but
There's not much of a character development on him. Just
But-
what other people say about him is what you
True.
find out.
But he's the only guy around for her to crush on, and it's easy for her to crush on.
Until later.
I
Until
remember
much later.
my parents having like a handyman, and I was 14, and I don't know how old this guy was, but I was just like, like,
my brother's
you know,
friends.
you entertain that idea that they're gonna think that your girlfriend material, but you're just a kid.
You're not. And my brother's friends were 8 and 9 years older than me.
yeah.
And so Tom Steenson. Ooh, did
Shout
I
out to
love
Tom.
him. Lynn Woodley. When I was 4, I had a crush on him because he was my swim instructor, and I needed glasses, and nobody knew it. So who knows what he looked like? But my bikini broke one time, and I was so embarrassed because he might see my boobs. As a 4-year-old.
As a 4-year-old.
Oh my God.
But he brought me a safety pin. Anyway, so he was my
Did you
hero.
fake that you were gonna drown so that he would save you?
I
Like
didn't.
In,
I didn't. I
the summer
wasn't
camp
that
movie?
developed mentally or physically. So Mermaids. Yes, Bob Hoskins, cute, and Cher has a real hard time with
Commitment.
some kinds of intimacy, even from him.
Yeah.
Well-
He tries to hug her a couple of times, like from behind, and she shrugs
she
him
didn't like
off,
that.
and I'm like, don't diss Tom, or don't diss Bob.
She's been burned, man.
Yeah.
I think
burned and
especially
burned and
by
burned. She's not gonna
her-
open up.
Well,
Yeah.
she's dating her boss, who's married, so she's making some poor choices.
yeah. Well, she doesn't have to commit to him because he's married
No.
That's true, but then she gets mad at him for
or not.
taking
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
taking his wife on a trip and not her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, duh, come on.
Yeah.
It
It's
was a
not.
work
It's
trip.
not another woman. It's my wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're taking another woman.
Oh my god.
So she has the perfect with Bob, Lou.
Yeah, I
with
would
Lou.
say so. He's so good to the kids
So
and
it's
everything.
so
She's
perfect. She
jealous
can't
of
handle
that.
it. She is jealous.
Yeah,
of
because
that.
she
Yeah.
has trouble connecting with her girls too.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Especially the teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the teenager's fault, which you're kind of led to believe, but
No.
Yeah, it's funny to me, like, no matter, like, what your, how, because she's pretty liberal, Cher is, she's promiscuous for the time and all of
Yeah.
that. And so Winona, no matter what, you have to, like, rebel against your parents. So she had to become very obsessed with the Catholic religion, even though they're Jewish. And, like, wants to become a nun and all this stuff. And I will say that's so funny because usually it's the other way. Like, your parents want you to be conservative and
Right.
pious and everything. And her mom's like,
Yeah,
we're
whatever-
Jewish.
Whatever goes on with your parents, they are always hella embarrassing. When Cher, like her refusal to kind of go all in to a relationship, it makes me see a correlation between the way that she prepares their food. Just to, like so surface level, like
She
just
has a
pop
cook- she
everything
has
on
one
a skewer.
cookbook.
Yeah, and when she cuts
d'oeuvres.
sandwiches into the star shapes, and Winona is just like horrified.
because
Did you
Winona's
see what
making
she was
sandwiches.
making?
She's making sandwiches
Bologna,
for
mustard, Velveeta,
And was there
and
mayonnaise?
white bread.
There
I
might have
would
been
have eaten
mayonnaise.
that. I would have eaten it, but with the plastic wrapped cheese slice,
Yeah, that's
bologna,
better than a
mustard.
Velveeta.
ketchup.
I don't think they had plastic
Cheese
wraps.
slice.
Cheese slice in 1963.
Well, I was kind of surprised they had Velveeta, and she was cutting some.
Isn't that from the
slabs.
30s?
Oof! I want to make some Rotel right now.
Queso dip.
Some dippity dip.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
I want every single one of Cher's outfits.
Oh,
The
yeah.
end. That's all I want to say.
Yep.
The
How come
end.
Winona didn't have chesticles until she wore that dress of Cher's,
I don't
of Rachel's?
think she even had them then.
Oh,
Maybe she
Were
had
they
a bra on
implied?
or something.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't think she has much
They
today.
were there.
Yeah.
She must have had him pushed up.
That's
There you
funny.
go. But yeah, her
Christina Ricci
outfits, and
is-
it's interesting how all the women in town are making assumptions of Rachel Cher based on how she dresses and how she looks, and they're pretty much right. But
Yeah.
still,
Well, they're gonna do that to. That's a mean girl thing. If
Yep.
a woman's pretty, if they're getting attention,
They
Yep.
feel
they're
threatened
going
by
to
it.
be hated.
the makeup lady didn't do it though.
Yeah.
She was the makeup lady. I can't remember who she
I
really
don't know,
was. She was
but
just a
She was
comedy
sweet.
relief there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then when
You
Winona
got to know
runs
your
away,
colors and your fabrics.
so cute, like an Avon lady.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like their car.
Oh yeah,
But when Winona runs away, that whole thing was just bizarre.
yeah. She was having like a psychotic break.
Yeah,
She really
for
was.
Sure.
She
For
was like,
And
I
she
want to go
just
play like I have a normal family
Found
for a little bit.
Found a random
Well,
house and
yeah,
oh, goodness.
crazy. Yeah, she really did have a moment there, man. And then okay, so yeah, things get dark. She goes when she's with Jake Ryan. And little Christina Ricci has way too much wine. And
She was
yeah,
funny when she was
okay.
drinking. Though, that
She's
was
like,
good.
But yeah, I mean that there was some tragedy there,
Yeah,
and
she
that
falls in the river.
That whole tragic accident with her little sister, and then that just adds to that guilt and shame
Mm-hmm.
of where she was, having sex with Jake
Joe-
Ryan.
Joe
Joe Joe Peretti.
Joe Peretti.
Oh, Peretti.
What did you say?
I swear to God, I thought his character was named Joe Pretty. They kept saying
Joe
it,
Pretty.
and I was like, "Wow, that's really on the nose."
Joe Peretti,
okay.
like Chelsea Peretti.
For now,
He's Chelsea
he's
Peretti's
Joe.
Yeah,
dad.
yeah.
All right, so that just adds to that guilt and shame, and it's just like so sad. Like, why can't we not have girls grow up feeling that way.
Right. It's
Well-
normal to crush on people and
It
have
is.
those
And-
thoughts.
It
And
is.
The whole thing is if she could just talk to her mom.
When she finally does
When she
talk to
finally
her
does.
mom,
And her mom and Cher is horrible.
when
She's
she finally
horrible.
talks-
I want you be, you better stay away from me. She walks
Yeah.
in the house and
She's
says,
upset.
you get away from me and da-da-da. Because it's all Winona Ryder's fault that Kate fell in the river and almost died.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
when
it
they
kinda is
finally
her-
do have a heart to heart.
It kind of is, yeah.
she left her, she gave her
Well,
wine
she gave
and
her
left her
wine
alone.
and then left her alone, yeah,
You
to
know?
collect rocks, and she
Yeah.
fell
Yeah,
in.
it doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that she was having sex. It's the fact that she left her little kid alone
Right.
when she
Yeah.
was
But they
and
really
gave her
glom-
wine.
Yeah.
Cher really gloms on to the whole sex thing, though.
Oh, yeah,
too,
she does.
When she,
Yeah.
Well,
the
she,
whole town knows what you were doing.
Right.
well, she doesn't want that for her daughter, probably.
No,
Sorry.
and she does hit her.
Okay, here's what I was gonna say.
Say it.
Is when they finally sit down and have a heart-to-heart talk. What Winona wants to talk about most of all is her own.
Mhm.
Yes.
And that is at the heart of why everything seems so wrong.
Well,
is
and yeah,
mom, dad, why?
Mhm.
Well, and
Doesn't-
she's been-
confused.
and Rachel, the mom, had been avoiding that conversation the entire movie. Really,
Yeah,
you think about it.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
because
both of the girls have like an obsession with their dads that they never knew. They have
two
different dads.
yeah.
And so, like, Christina Ricci's dad was supposedly an Olympic swimmer. And so she becomes obsessed with swimming. And Winona Ryder becomes, I don't know, obsessed with these boots.
Oh,
That
Yeah.
she only has a picture of his feet. That's
Right.
it.
Right, and I don't understand the obsession with the boots because at first, I remember the first time I saw the movie, I thought the dad gave her the boots, but
Yeah.
there's no way, really,
No,
They
and
wouldn't fit her.
because she would have. The
I
last time she
wondered
saw him,
if
she was
that
4.
Photo was not a photo of James Dean, the top of his head torn off.
Could have been, but
I
then
think
also she
that's-
remembers she has a flashback of him walking around though,
Okay.
and then of her looking up at him, but the sun is behind him,
Mhm.
so you don't see his face. But she could have easily thought that up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously.
But
she
yeah, those
had a
shoes,
father.
fancy shoes.
Yeah.
The guy had, yeah.
That's why I'm gonna look that up because I swear that's the very famous picture of James Dean sitting on the front of his
yeah.
car.
Makes some sense.
Yeah.
And then mom would just give it to her and kind of tear off the top.
'Cause
and say,
why-
This is your dad.
Yeah.
There's only
Yeah.
there are no pictures left because they got screwed up from the wedding.
Right.
Why
no.
would that be there?
Yeah. Were they ever married?
I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, because she does say that she's like, well, not
She
that you
does.
couldn't get married, but she was like 16 when she had
Yeah.
Winona.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
I mean, but you definitely, especially at that time, like people
Hey.
get married when they're
And
late
who
teens.
has a costume party for New Year's Eve?
I thought that
Why
was
can't we
weird
do
too.
that
Maybe
Yeah.
people
do
used,
that.
maybe they used to do that. I don't know.
In the 60s.
And
I love a costume.
I was
party.
surprised that people. I mean, I know people got really sad and upset when Kennedy was shot,
Yeah.
but that was wild.
Yeah,
It reminded me of 9/11.
I was gonna. That was one
That's
of my
true.
like
Yeah.
questions. Do you guys have those moments in your life where you like remember where you heard it?
Yes.
Yeah, remember where you were? My
I was
mom
on my
was.
honeymoon.
My mom, when Kennedy was shot, my mom was painting the living room or something, and my brother was.
You actually
my
remember?
brother was.
or-
My brother was too. My mom
Oh, okay.
when Kennedy was shot.
When 9/11 happened, we were on our
I was gonna say
honeymoon, and
you
we-
probably weren't even born.
No, I was at the YMCA walking when 9/11 happened, and they had it on the TV, and I kept hitting my hand, and I ended up with this huge bruise because I was on a treadmill, and because I kept forgetting where I was. Like I was so engrossed.
Yeah.
And you were on your honeymoon. Did you know about it right away?
We turned on the TV just as the plane hit.
Jesus,
So it was a live
kind of a thing.
confusion.
Yes.
And then we saw the second one, and we got on the road, and one of the first stops for gas in Colorado, we went into a truck stop, and people were frozen, scattered all over the room, but all staring up at televisions. It was surreal.
Yeah.
No one was moving. And actually a little paper boy was handing out extra, an extra edition of the newspaper with all the information that they had up to that moment. And that was just later in the day.
Okay.
That was in Colorado. So it was just super weird, and we wanted to tour a brewery, but they closed out of respect for what was happening. Nobody knew what was even
Right.
going on.
Right.
then.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Ugh, was very weird. So I can just imagine, you know, in that scene where everybody's just staring into the store window because, you know, TVs weren't.
Not everybody had one.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Well, you definitely didn't have cell phones yet, or smartphones yet.
And certainly not when you're, you know, you're out, you know, on the downtown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh my God, what's just happened?
Yeah,
Right.
I was a senior in high school, and
Oh.
I walked into. We always had choir first period, and I had not heard about it. I walked into the choir room, and it usually is like all chattery, you know, everybody, and it was completely silent. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They had one small TV like above the chalkboard that everybody was watching, and that was like right before the second plane hit. So I did watch the second plane hit in the choir room, and then the rest of the day like was very weird.
Yeah.
It was on the radio on the way to work.
So
they
scary.
put a TV in the bullpen at work, and we all nobody talked.
Yeah.
And we just kind of watched the updates and what was going on. You know, you saw people jumping out of the towers, and
Well, this is sad.
Okay.
so that has nothing to do with. Okay, so John F. Kennedy
welcome to
got
our
shot.
comedy podcast.
Yeah, okay, so then at the end of the movie, after the mother-daughter talk, Winona stops obsessing about Catholicism and goes to Greek myths, but she also wears colorful clothing, whereas before she would only wear like blacks and grays.
Looking like a little Wednesday Addams.
Looking
I
like a
loved
little
it.
Wednesday, like a little nun in training, and with a big cross necklace.
I love
And
it.
Which is
then she's wearing bright colors, and since the whole town knows what she was doing up in that bell tower with not Jake Ryan, all the boys are flocking her at school. And
All you need is a good rumor
a
to
good
get
rumor
popular.
and some pink and
Or
red
to get-
outfit and
Yeah.
a pink and red outfit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
It's good.
even
Do
the
you know
even
what
the
that
slutty
reminds
girl
me
was.
of, is the end of Beetlejuice, where
can't
she
even
is
remember.
happy and dancing,
Okay.
and
Yes.
she does.
And it's also Winona.
Yes, that's what I mean. Is she
Oh.
does a dance in this movie that's kind of similar. That really said, I thought, oh my gosh, that's her dance.
That's her move.
That's how she dances.
So-
And she did it again in Beetlejuice.
So, what do you think is Winona Ryder's best role that she's ever done?
ooh.
Ooh,
I'm
do.
gonna say for me it's Stranger Things.
I was gonna say that she's very good in Stranger
You
Things.
know what? Yes.
Yeah. Because not
What
only
about when
because
she's
it was a
What about
comeback.
Girl Interrupt?
I
That's a
never
good one.
I never saw that.
Oh,
You should.
it's good.
You should. Brittany Murphy. Oh my gosh.
You would like it. They're all
Angelina
like
Jolie.
in a mental health facility together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's good.
And it's also set in the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. Well, so I mean, this is a must watch, isn't it?
I think so. And the
Bob
reason
Hoskins is worth
yes, Bob Hoskins and his pancakes. No, does he make pancakes? I don't know. But
He makes a whole.
he really all he is nice to the kids. It's not like he's
genuine.
and whatnot, and Cher is jealous, and what was I gonna say? Oh, the only reason it's called Mermaids is because Cher dresses like a mermaid
That's what I'm
for
saying.
New Year's Eve.
It's not a movie about
But then
mermaids,
also the swimming,
I guess.
I guess,
I feel like there's more.
or the mythology of it. Do you think there's a deeper?
I do. I'm gonna think on it. But I mean, if you think about three women, they're swimming along in life. No,
Reach. It's a reach.
it's a reach.
But
you know,
maybe the mermaids are a myth, and so is the perfect family. I don't know.
Okay, nobody's gonna say
That's-
that's a reach.
That's a reach. That's a reach.
I mean,
Maybe Bob Hoskins is a
I
mermaid,
think
and we don't
anything
know.
about calling this movie Mermaids is a reach. I don't understand why it was called that.
Wonder
Other
what
than
we
the
would
fact that
call
they
it.
wanted to put Cher in that really cool outfit on the cover.
That was cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's reason
my
enough.
my whole thing was my brain goes to in such a small town. Where'd you find that outfit?
True.
Amazon.
Did somebody make it?
Yeah.
Did she make it? She didn't make it. She's not that handy. She
God,
can't even
you're
cook
right.
supper.
Yeah, where would? Well, I mean, everybody had cool costumes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
There was trick or treating, and I was like, oh, 60s
Oh, she was a
costumes are
she was a
pretty
lobster. The little girl, the little
Alright.
swimmer girl, was a lobster.
Yeah.
Or no, a goldfish.
Goldfish.
A goldfish.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and she told her mom she could be. A
And it was
goldfish too.
good. It was really cool. You're right.
Cool. Yeah.
There was only like one ghost.
A
with
lot
sheep.
more. Well,
Ghost in the sheep.
I'm
It
generalizing,
was
but
Taylor
a lot
Brown.
more people in that time knew how to sew. I feel like she
Oh,
probably could have
yeah.
got
Oh,
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the town ladies to sew or something.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Or there might have even been a store
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
sewn stuff.
But I mean, the outfit is great.
Of sewn stuff. At the end, too, though, she's wearing jeans, and they're like modern jeans.
I don't
Cher.
remember.
Cher's wearing jeans at the end when they're singing "If You Want to Be Happy for the Rest of Your Life, Never Make a Pretty Woman
Your
Your
wife.
Wife,"
Sure.
which is a
You can't
horrible song.
Why did you bring that inside? It's indoor swimming. Sorry, that's what.
Yeah.
That's like the very end of the movie. Christina Ricci tries to bring in this plastic kiddie pool inside
Yeah.
to that song, and then her mom's like, "What the?"
I
Yeah.
mean, at least it isn't a giant fountain.
Oh, that happened in Splash.
Yeah, she's like,
She bought him a fountain for his living room, and it was
Somehow
humongous.
gets it up there, gets it running.
"There's no
filled
way
with water.
it wouldn't have fit through the door.
No,
It's huge.
stupid.
It's
I love it.
I mean, that was
All right.
a funny scene.
It
but
was
yeah.
it was funny, but it was like a
Oh.
no value scene, you know.
All right. Time
Let's
to.
wrap this up
Oh,
and
okay.
draw the next one. Who's
Yes,
drawing
you
this
should
week?
watch Mermaids, even if
Me.
you're just doing it while you fold your
Wendy.
towels.
Drum roll.
I can't do that. You guys, quit it now. I can't do that. It's so sad.
Movies about families. Oh, Brady Bunch and Addams. So, which Addams family? The Christina Ricci one,
Yes.
or there's also a newer animated one and the
No,
old one.
The Christina
Christina
Ricci with
Ricci
Raul Julia. And,
Yeah.
All right, let's do
What's her
it.
name? And Angelica. Is that one okay? I think
That's
that
the one
might
that
be
I
the
would
one that we're
choose.
gonna find.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Addams Family and Brady Bunch. Oh
Yep.
my God,
I love both of those movies.
Brady Bunch.
Addams Family is like one of my favorites ever.
Little incestuous Brady Bunch. I can't wait. All right. well,
I don't
that-
think this version was, but yes. Ooh, Greg and Mom. Anyway,
Okay. Well, we flicked some beans, didn't we?
Yeah,
We
we
did
sure
something.
did.
Let's see y'all next week.
okay, bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.